Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, November 6th, and once again, I appreciate you joining in for our weekly webinars. Having a bit of technical difficulties. If anyone can just go to their little hand icon and let me know that you can see my screen and you can hear me, I would appreciate that. Thank you guys, appreciate that. Okay. So let's get started. I'm going to do a little bit of review, and I really apologize, but I get so many questions on what our solutions will be for enrollment, and I just think it's important that, you know, if you missed a webinar in the past couple of weeks, that you're brought up to date. So it is a bit of a review, but I'm going to let you know that we will have solutions, and we're not just going to have one solution. We're going to have a multi-pronged approach, because I'm not sure really at the end of the day, starting at 215 or for 215 enrollment, what's going to be the best for us, what's going to be the best model for you too. So first and foremost, we're going to have eBix. We are working with eBix under our web broker contract to offer an enrollment portal and a quoting portal with a consumer interface for both on and off exchange. I mean, it's going to be the best of all worlds. It is going to bypass the identity proofing and the account creation. So I think that's going to be really what we're leading with, and that's something that you can purchase. Our price point is about $75 a month until they tell us otherwise. You know, again, I think it is something that's going to be the best of all systems, in that you can drive consumers to your website, to the consumer interface link. They can run quotes. You capture that information. They can roll off exchange, and they can roll on exchange. So, you know, again, I think that's going to be an option. We are contracting with ACA Express. This may be more for internal use for us, that we could take a paper healthcare.gov app and enroll your clients as a, you know, data entry functionality. So, and that one also has the account creation and identity proofing. We also have another system that we are contracted with as well, called Basic Guru, which offers some of the same functionality, but it offers a group interface, or a group HR housing portal, or hub, I should say. The various carriers are going to have portals, most of them for on and off. Some will have the bypassing of the account creation and the identity proofing, and others will not. Again, you know, as we move forward, and once the clock changes to 12:01 on November 15th, then it will all hopefully become apparent of, you know, what we can and can't do with these systems. And then, of course, the Highmark system, most of 2013 enrollment in the central Pennsylvania area went to Highmark Blue Shield. And, of course, in Western, there's Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. They have created a portal that will allow you to, it doesn't have a consumer interface, but it does allow you as an agent to log on into your portal and view your current block of business, whether it's the medically underwritten folks that are coming off of their plans on 12/31, or the ACA programs that you wrote this year. It's going to allow you to change their plans, re-enroll them. It is going to be on and off, and it also is going to, for on exchange, going to bypass the account creation and identity proofing as well. So those, you know, that's bringing you up to date. You know, we are definitely wanting to provide as many options for you to provide ease of doing business on exchange. We know it's a pain in the butt, but it's an important part of your clientele, and you know, an important part of getting, you know, leads for other lines of coverage, and, you know, building your client base. So the good news is that after the election on Tuesday, you know, the Pennsylvania Insurance Department is starting to release some approvals for 2015 rates. We now have in our possession, and they're being loaded on our website, Independence Blue Cross for 2015, the plans and the rates. We just got in the Blue Cross of Northeastern PA 2015 plans and rates. We do have the plan information and the mapping from old plans to new plans for Geisinger. We do not have those rates yet. We're working on getting those as well. So again, just keep checking our website. I'm going to be leaving here after the webinar and going to Pittsburgh, but if you want to send me an email, I can forward any of this information, IBX, NEPA, and Geisinger, to you. Just shoot me an email and I will get to it tomorrow for you. The next bullet point I think is pretty important in a number of ways. For those of you in Northeastern PA, of course, there was a notification that Health America and Aetna were no longer contracting with Evangelical Community Hospital, and I'm happy to report for those of you that feel that's very important, and I know that it is an important hospital system to your clients. The contract has been approved and signed, and it's been extended for a 3-year contract, so that's a good thing for everyone. The other good news is that we will be operating again as a general agency for the Health America One product for 2015. That's a new decision, and we don't have a lot of details on that right now, but just keep watching for that, because there will have to be a transition then for all the agent partners that we did have that were then transferred to direct. We're going to have to transfer back. So there's going to be some transition, and we'll be reaching out to you as soon as we receive that information. So I have a great agent partner up in the Northeastern PA area, and she does a great deal of business on the exchange. And she hassles those people like nobody's business because she does the right thing for her clients. But she shared with me a story that I thought was important to share to you, because we need to get our expectations in the appropriate place. So she had a client that had insurance and for 7 months was then laid off, of course, received unemployment. She was receiving a subsidy. She called into the marketplace and said that she's laid off, and the marketplace worker went on to say that her premium was going from a heavily subsidized amount to the full price. She mentioned, the consumer mentioned, she couldn't afford that. So, of course, the health insurance marketplace, in all of their wisdom, that's, facetious, mentioned that she should just cancel her insurance then, which they proceeded to do. Now, again, I think it's very important. I know that we all want to have our hands off the clients as much as possible because the compensation is so low, but I can tell you that there are many health insurance marketplace workers that are not going to do the right thing by your clients. So it's our responsibility to educate them on what they need to know. For instance, that person had unemployment coming in. She worked full-time for 7 months during the year, and then she was going to be getting unemployment. So if anything, her subsidy should have been increased, as opposed to saying, she's done, she can't have insurance. So just be mindful of that. But during the conversation when, my Bulldog agent partner was talking to the health insurance marketplace worker, she did get a good one. And it was mentioned to her that, listen, these enhancements of the portal are really causing a lot of problems for the portal in and of itself. Now, if any of you have sat on my webinars, you know I always say beware enhancements. And unfortunately, it does seem like some of the enhancements that were done to improve the consumer experience are causing havoc in the system itself. Not a big shocker to me, but I just want you to know that, that there are issues, and we need to get our expectations in line, because all of these web broker and enrollment portals that I've mentioned, and there are many, many others out there, when it's redirecting to healthcare.gov, we are at the mercy of healthcare.gov and whether or not it works or doesn't. So just be mindful of that. The next bullet point is the NPN change. This is a good thing and it's a bad thing. One of the enhancements in healthcare.gov is that the consumer, there are two avenues, and I actually sat in on a CMS webinar yesterday, and I have some screens saved that I'm going to put in a format and put in next week's Healthcare Reform Essentials newsletter. But the good thing is, 70% of the people that are using healthcare.gov, your clients, will be able to go through the shorter version of the application. About 30%, of course, would have to go through the longer version that we have known for this year. So that's the news. The good news is that they've allowed the functionality to go backwards in the application process as opposed to logging out and getting back in and redirecting to the application. So that's the good thing, in my opinion. There is, once enrollment is complete, there is a screen that talks about changing an agent. And the good thing is that I know last year or this year that if a navigator or an assister or even the consumer themselves went into the system, healthcare.gov, and started enrollment but really needed your help choosing a plan, there was no way for you to capture that case. There is now a way for you to capture that case. So that's the good news. The bad news is that there's also a way for you to be replaced as a broker in the system. It is a bit hidden, but a consumer could certainly find that, and I don't know how long the carriers are going to allow for all of these changes, because I can see a lot of back and forth, and that's going to wreak havoc on commissions and broker of records. But know that there is the ability to change the national producer number and the agent on the case. Again, could work for you, could work against you. The next bullet point is the Highmark Blue Shield webinars. I've been trying to schedule some webinars after the 15th when product information is released. We just held a Capital Blue Cross seminar on last Wednesday, and that was pretty successful in my opinion. When I'm scheduling these with the carriers, they've already had and created some canned webinars. So Highmark is going to be releasing, hopefully by tomorrow, a webinar to talk about their tools, their new portal, a webinar specific to the medically underwritten program transitions, and a webinar specific to the 2015 plan. So, of course, as soon as I have those available, I will make them available to you. But just, it's not exclusive to Highmark. We will have other carriers that are we're either providing a webinar for or providing the canned webinars that they provide. Also, there is a UPMC webinar coming up next week for those of you that have an interest. So just be mindful of that too. Go to our homepage and you can go under current events and register for that webinar. Getting down to the bottom of our agenda, and just think it's important to once again mention that November 15th is a Saturday, and although we do expect the site to be down more than up, we will be here to help you with any questions and answer any questions about the plans, the products, the process, anything that you need. So we will be fully staffed with myself, Elise, Jessica, and Judy here from 10 to 2 on that Saturday to assist you. So please make sure that you take advantage of that and call with any questions. So that brings us to the portion of the webinar where we have an open forum. So if you do have a question, you can either raise your hand and I can unmute you. You can ask it live, or you can go to the bottom of your screen into the question tab and type in your question. So Jay, as usual, sends us a greeting, says good morning to everyone. So good morning to you, Jay. Thanks for joining in. Kim is asking a question, is the $75 per month for eBix per agent or per agency? And Kim, I'm going to get some clarification on that, because currently the $55 pricing includes, it's per agency and up to 4 users. I'm going to verify, actually I have a conference call this afternoon. I'll verify if that is the case moving forward, and I'll get back to you. Jay says, the current quoting system we now have through URL, it will become obsolete, correct? And no, it's not going to become obsolete. It's going to be enhanced. Yeah, beware enhancements, but it will be enhanced to add the on-exchange web broker functionality if you choose to do so. And Joe says, would you have a copy of the letters that healthcare.gov is sending out, or any copies of letters the carriers would be sending out? I do have some, Joe, and I will write that down. I'll try to get a hold of those and get those out for distribution. Kelly says, people with existing Independence Blue Cross plans, if their plan is continued into 2015, will they be automatically re-enrolled? Do they need to do anything to facilitate this? And my understanding, Kelly, is no. As long for renewal, if the plans have not retired, then your client really needs to do nothing unless it's on exchange and their income has changed or they want to change plans. So from 11/15 to 12/15, and barring the fact that the health plans have not changed, then your client really needs to do nothing. If your client is automatically enrolled into a plan that they had this year and no longer like that, the pricing, or just see something better, then they can change their plan. They can change their carrier as well up until the end of open enrollment on 2/15. Bill says, will consumers automatically transition to 2015 plans, or must we access the marketplace account and choose a plan for 2015? Well, again, I know that the renewal process is a little bit, just a process on paper right now. But again, if plans either on or off marketplace are not retiring, then your clients are going to be auto-enrolled into that same plan. Again, that can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing because they have until 12/15 to make any changes. If they don't, and they're auto-enrolled into a plan to include any price increase and they're not happy about it, then I'm sure you'll be getting calls saying, I don't want this plan, or I didn't want this plan. But the good news is that it's going to be an automated system, so you don't necessarily have to touch them. The bad news is that it's going to be an automated system, and some people won't be happy about that. Dina says, has anyone gotten the link to set up an app in the past 2 days from the marketplace? And she says she has not. I don't know. I'd be interested if anybody has done on exchange enrollment and created an account. If anyone can respond to that by typing in yes or no, I'd appreciate it. I know that there have been issues and delays in setting up that account, so I'm not sure what's going on, but no one seems to be responding, Dina. So what I can do is take that as a takeaway and see if, well, not see if I can do it. I will contact the marketplace and see what is going on and why they're not being sent. Looks like those are all of the questions that we have for today. And Dina says UPMC is changing all their plans but 2, so they do not have to. So then, do I have to re-enroll them in all and into the marketplace? Yes, you will have to touch them, Dina. There is going to be, if they do nothing and their plan retired on the marketplace, then according to HHS, they would be auto-mapped to a similar metal level plan with the same carrier, the same type program. So, yeah, I would say if they're retiring all their plans, then, yeah, you're going to want to re-enroll them or at least touch them and see what they want to do. And she says crap, and I agree with you. Bill says that he has had create account issues Monday and Tuesday, but they were resolved yesterday. So, so maybe that's something that you want to try again, Dina. And her question again is, if she doesn't do anything and they change plans, will the plan stay with them? Pardon me. If the plan's retired and you do nothing and the client does nothing and they're auto-mapped by the marketplace to a similar plan with the same carrier, same metal level, then my understanding is, and we've heard this from the carriers, that you will remain the agent of record. If somebody else comes in there and they call another agent and say, listen, my plan's retiring, what do I do? Then that's going to be a new sale for another agent. Yeah, not the best of everything in this system. PPACA is the gift that keeps on giving and certainly taking. So that looks like all of our questions now. Again, I appreciate everyone joining in every week. We'll have more information on our website as we get these rates. And as always, I appreciate your business and your partnership. And as I mentioned so often last year and this year, we're going to sink or swim together. And I really do think we'll have a successful enrollment period. We just need to keep conversation going so that we're all educated on how to tackle this beast of a portal. So enjoy your day and enjoy your weekend. And I will talk with you next week. Bye-bye.